Hello, everyone. Welcome to Survivor Now's Australian Survivor Australia versus the World Fantasy Draft. Today, if you may know a few of us from the regular Survivor Now podcast lineup, Cara, Ollie, Randy, and then Josh will be joining us a little bit later. But today we are very excited to also be joined by Australian Survivor players and Australian Survivor royalty, I should say. We have Logan, Nina, and Laura. Nina, of course, from Blood versus Water and Heroes versus Villains. And Logan and Laura, you may recognize from the most recent season of Brains versus Bronze 2. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. We are so excited to get started. Here's how this is going to work. We already have a random order, and one by one, we are going to go through and everyone's going to create their draft teams. And throughout the season, make sure you stick around with Survivor Now podcast so that you can see who's winning and who is losing. Oh, Joe Babam, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. As you can see here, we do have our live chat open. So if you would like to join in the conversation, just like Joe Babam did, please do. So we got some love for Logan and Laura and Nina. That's awesome. All right. Here also, I should point out, if any one of our panelists, Randy, goes over and speaks too much, I will be cutting him off. All right. Jenny also say, yay, congrats, Nina, on winning. Yes, Nina, congratulations on winning the Anonymous. And of course, Miles for winning Brains vs. Brawn too.
Miles, no, I think they're referencing the pick. The draft.
Yeah, who won the fantasy draft? That was on me because I forgot
for both, but I picked him.
I remember watching that draft and thinking that this, I was like, oh my God, Nina's team is stacked. Like, I'm so excited.
And I was no idea, there's nothing. And then at the end, I was like,
yeah, I was so happy watching that.
Amazing. Well, let's see, Nina, if we could replicate history. Oh, and now we have Josh Pickle joining us. Welcome, Josh.
Hi. So sorry.
Hey, no apologies needed. We're going to get started. So here is the order. As you can see, it is everyone lined up on screen. So Cara, we're going to start with you. We have 14 players to get through. So let's see who you have to choose from.
I will say, totally forgot that Josh is coming in and instantly finding out where he's picking in the draft. Josh, we randomly did the order. You're 7th, buddy.
Look, I'm ready. I do fantasy football all the time. Put me anywhere. I'm ready to go.
Good. Glad to hear that. All right, Cara, start us off.
All right. So I'm so excited because one of my favorite Survivor players ever is on the season, and I'm so excited to pick him for my team. So I'm picking George. Loved watching George on his past seasons, and I'm so excited to have him on my screen again.
That's right, Joe. You did not have to wait long for someone to pick George. Cara, I had a feeling that's where we were going as your first pick. Yeah. Explain a little bit. Are you at all nervous that he's going to be an early out just because of the massive target on him?
I am. I'm definitely worried about that, but George always finds a way, so if anyone's going to find a way, it's George. So I have faith in him that he is going to make it far in the game.
That's a really good point. We've seen him go in and out of danger many times. Nina, as someone who has played with George, what do you think of this pick?
Yeah, I think it's a great pick because it's true. I've seen him. I've witnessed it firsthand where I'm like, we're done. Everybody's aligned. And then boom, something happens. And then I just also think to myself, considering his season was all new people. My season was half new, half returnee. These are all returnees. So hopefully they have a little bit more sense of when he's willing to play with them and when he's not. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he is able to maneuver if he is, and if he's not, and people shut it down. I'm very interested to see how that can work.
Absolutely. How do we differentiate who the threat is when everyone on this cast is a major threat in and of themselves? So, Ollie, let's move on to your first pick.
I'm very excited because I was really nervous that someone, hi Josh, would try and take my pick because I was really kind and let one person, Josh, know who I was going to pick. And he openly said he was going to pick them. So I'm glad that he doesn't have that choice. So I am taking Sarah. I love me some Sarah. I wanted her to return for so long. Like every returnee season that Australian Survivor has done, I've literally been sat there going like, why is Sarah not in this cast? I was like, I want Sarah. So when she was on like this one, I was so ecstatic. I think she's going to be very under the radar. I think she's going to sneak attack, and she's also got some friends. I mean, we'll clear the elephant in the room. She's got a lot of friends on that tribe, but I still think we're going to see the rise of a queen. So, and we all know I love a queen.
I think
Logan, you had a big reaction to that.
Yeah, I was hoping she was going to be a sleeper pick. I was hoping that everyone was just going to coast over her. She was going to be locked in for my number 1 pick. So, Ollie, I'm coming for you. I'm mad.
Logan, you know me. I always go for the sleeper picks.
I hate it, but it's fine. I'm happy for you. It's just sad for me.
Oh, and Laura, what was your reasoning for wanting Sarah?
Well, I think it's interesting that she is the Australian Survivor player that hasn't played in the longest time. So I think it'll be interesting to see how she comes in. I think she'll be coming in like wanting blood because all of them have had quite a recent experience. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Sarah attacks everyone else having played the least amount of time.
Ooh, that's something I haven't considered. That makes me extra excited now, just keeping that in mind. So awesome, Ollie. Hope it works out for you. Randy, it is now your first pick.
This is such a monumental moment. I've always hosted the draft, and I've never actually got to be part of one. And I'm always the person posting on Instagram and like throwing some shade here, like, oh, Cara just had 3 straight people go home and she's out. And everyone always comments of like, oh, Randy, where's your draft picks? Let's see you try. And so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you guys instantly how to draft a perfect team. So I'm coming in with the confidence all ready to start off. Okay. We need a good villain, and I'm going to be the villain in this draft. So I'm torn on 2 people. I think one of them could get back to me, but I know the other one will not. And I feel like the other one's going to be on Laura's team, if I'm being completely honest and looking at how the draft's going to play out. I'm going to take a risk here. I think everybody's talking about King George and Cirie and Tony and the big names. I don't think someone who's ever won is going to win this season. And I think one of these sleeper players from one of the other versions of the show are going to shock a lot of people. And so I'm going Cassandra. I think she's going to be a very sneaky pick in this. I don't think a lot of people are talking about her. Once again, you just have the big names, right? Oh, I can't wait to see King George again. I can't wait to see Tony play again. I think a lot of these big names are going to go after one another very early on. It's either going to be that type of game or they're going to use themselves as shields. And Cassandra's a very good player from the research that I've done. Ollie and I have talked about her, and I think she's someone who could fly under the radar. And I'm not saying she's my winner pick, but at the end of the day, we're playing for fantasy points, and I think she could get very far in this game.
Okay. I'm glad that you chose from Survivor Quebec, Cassandra. Yes. I think it's really cool, Randy, because I had a feeling going into this draft that we would see the AU castaways and the US castaways get drafted pretty much right away. So I like this pick. I think it's a risk that's going to pay off. All right. Anyone else have any comments about Cassandra? Has anyone here seen Survivor Quebec in full? Ollie has. All right. Yeah. Ollie, what do you know?
Yeah, so I mean, Cassandra is she's a really strong all-round player. She got second, so just to let everyone know, that was her placement. She had a really good chance of winning, and then it was kind of the final tribal council that kind of did let things down for her. But she was actually, I don't want to give him this credit because it's him, but she was definitely up there on my list of who I wanted to pick. So she's, again, like Randy said, she's a sleeper. I think people aren't really going to consider her, like, especially coming from one of the franchises that maybe where English isn't their first language. People are automatically going to kind of put her on the back foot. But I think don't sleep on Cassandra because she is a fighter. She will tough it out with the best of them, and she won't let you have it. Basically, she won't just roll over. So yeah, I think that was a smart choice. I'll give them that.
I will say first off to end my pick. I'm so sorry, Cara. I was not trying to throw shade at you the entire time. I looking back, I was like, I'm not trying to start that rivalry. But the only thing that I am nervous about with taking Cassandra is the fact that she doesn't have any other friends on the show. And that does make me a little bit nervous. The US people definitely know each other. Same with the AU people and the AU players. The only thing that's making me nervous is that she doesn't really have any friends. So she's going to have to find a crack instantly. But if she does, I think she can go far.
It's that double-edged sword. Is she going to go with the crowd or is she going to be on the outside? We are going to find out. Nina, you picked the winner at our last Australian Survivor draft. So, are you going to pick the winner again?
Don't put that pressure on me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And sorry if I'm freezing because it's freezing a little bit. But so I was also trying to pick between two people, and something Randy said about like connections and stuff was my main point. I actually saw an Instagram post not too long ago about all the connections that everyone has. And from that to somebody else's point, I think about Sarah, how she hasn't played in a while. So I was like, who has the most connections and who has played, even if it's Survivor or something else most recently? And of course, what came to mind was Traders and Deal or No Deal Island. So I'm like, okay, here's Parv, Dave, and then just because I'm thinking of all three of them, and these are my reasons. So I'm gonna choose Parv because I feel like it's out of left field. I know, like her and my mom, like they're okay, right? Like but like Island, like him and the amount, like him coming in there, that like carefree, like I would probably be like, I don't care, you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna play for real and do whatever, but like I'm gonna go balls to the walls, full on. I also know, hearing Tony a little bit after Traders, he was very like one and done. Like if I'm with you, I'm with you. If I'm not, I'm not. And like not being open, where I'm really interested in seeing how Parvati can adapt. No matter my mom and her and whatever, I'm actually very interested to see how she can maneuver in this game if she even gets the opportunity. And having those connections, having David on the other side, are they going to cross chat? Like I saw George do that with Haley, and that was the first thing that came to my mind, is that who has two tribes. And so that's something that I'm really, really interested in seeing. And if not, then so be it.
Nina, you were going in and out just a little bit.
My mom's listening to me and she's like, why are you picking her? I'm sorry.
No, it is interesting. And Parvati's at a very unique situation because of that relationship with David, especially. I don't know if David's going to get picked this round just because of that huge, hey.
Oh my goodness. Hey.
The queen saves queen.
Sorry, we're lagging. I think my computer's lagging. Sorry.
Okay, I got really quick side note, really funny story. At work the other day, we were doing this like that fun game that you see all over TikTok, and they go, "Who's the most famous person in your phone?" And I said, I have the Queen's number. I have Queen Sandra's number. And then they did the whole, if you called her right now, would she answer? And I said, yeah, I think she would. So I got to talk to you sometime about that. I was curious if she would. Lord. I didn't call, obviously, but it was like a fun thing. I'm like, yeah, I got Queen Sandra's number.
Okay, so it probably wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, always a good idea to text first before you give that a try. But Nina, I think that is a really cool choice. As you saw, there were a lot of reactions. Joe Babam commented on all of the reactions. Logan, that was another huge reaction from you. Was she your pick too?
That was my number one pick. I'm Devo, but it's so fine. It's all right. I'm so interested to see where Parvati lands here. I mean, just watching her on Dundee, you can just see how good she is. Like, she's still killing it as a social player. And that is just, honestly, just coming off the back of the latest season, like looking at who gets the furthest, it's the social players. I'm not going to lie. Like, the strategic players, amazing, but is how good your social game is that's going to get you further in the game. And just watching her on the latest season, I'm like, I'm in awe of that woman. She kills it every single time. So yeah, Nina, you've hurt my heart. It's all right. It's all right. I've got some backups. I'm hurt.
Oh,
I was really going back and forth.
You should have gone back.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, Logan. You are going to pick next. But first, I want to say hello to Paula in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. Randy, Frank says, don't apologize if you're playing the villain. He's like an anti-hero, Frank. And then we did have Matt comment, what an amazing panel. Coven hype. That is right, Matt. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, Logan, you do get your pick now.
Oh, gosh. My top 3 are gone. What do I do here? All right. I'm sort of tossing back between a couple of people, and they're on the AU side, mostly because I feel a little bit more comfortable with who's left on the AU. But I think I'm going to lock in someone from one of my favorite season, which is Champs versus Contenders. I'm going to lock in Janine.
Ooh. Okay.
How dare you?
I think she is a really dominant player. I think that she might go slightly under the radar, just given that people know that she's a big player, but they know it that I don't think it's going to affect her game. I don't know. I'm kind of hedging my bets here, but I don't know. I'm locking in Janine.
Laura, was this going to be a pick for you too? Was Janine going to be a pick for you?
She was high, but I'm intrigued to see how she maneuvers out of the godmother. That's a big statement. And she was huge on her season, so I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if I were participating in this draft, I feel like Janine would be on my list too, Logan. So we got that in common. Janine, I liked watching her play because she helped me think about the game a little bit differently. Her and George helped me with that. I like how she thought about it in like percentages, like what is the best gives me the best percentage chance of moving forward in the game. My mom loves her. I bought my mom her book. So her book's on Amazon if anyone wants it. But
what a plug, Matthew. What a plug.
Yeah, Janine, you can thank me later. But I think that that was a really fun pick. Anyone else have any comments on Janine? She was really strong.
I've never seen Janine play. So can anyone who I know, I'm outing myself, right? I haven't seen like the earlier seasons of Survivor Australia. I started with Blood versus Water, which was Nina's season, and I've watched it. Did you say fake fan, Ollie? Wow.
And I'm not sorry about it.
But yeah, like what type of, I know she's like the godmother and everything, but is she like, I take it she's a very good, strong social player. Like I didn't know what to expect with Janine.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Janine is she was a really great social player, but she has really great intuition. Like her kind of gut, is phenomenal. Like on her season, like her and Pia, iconic. I mean, yeah. So Logan, you got me there. I got you with Sarah. You got me with Janine. So well done. Yeah, she's an icon again.
See, it all works out, Logan. And Ollie is the true villain of this stream. So I also wanted to, Jay in the chat, Jay, good to see you again, says, give me the Survivor 50 draft already. I'm sure that's coming, Jay. Just make sure you're subscribed so that you can see it when we do come out with that. And then HRVOJE, Logan needs to go for Shonee. It's written in the stars. Maybe round 2.
I think it's too obvious. Is it not? I don't know.
Well, we'll see when Shonee gets picked finally. And then Matt says that this cast is so strong. I agree, Matt. There are still so many amazing picks left on the board. It's wild. I know. I feel like it is really cool. This is a really cool cast to talk about. So, Josh, continue on. It is now your turn. Who is your first pick?
So this is tough, because I was definitely looking at Parvati for that first pick because of just all the connections that there were. I know, Nina, I'm looking at you because I knew that was probably going to be my first pick. But picking at 7, I'm not going to be able to get like some of the big favorites, the ones that people look at first. So I need to think of something that's more of a depth pick. What can I get at a great value at 6? So I'm looking at a few. I'm looking at Tony just because I'm a fan favorite of his game. I'm looking at David, which I'm leaning more towards, but I'm also leaning to a hometown hero in Cirie, because Cirie and I are both from Norwalk. Cirie would be a really great pick because I do feel that Cirie can get really far in the game. Cirie has a great social game, but this might bite me later when I choose David. So I am going to go with David here. I really liked David off of Dondi. Dondi was the first season that I did see David play, but I do think that David would have a strong shot in a game like this with as many connections, playing in recent seasons, and going back out on the island.
Oh, so Josh, have you not seen him play Australian Survivor?
No, but I know he's won, so I'm ready to watch that.
You are missing out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You can be.
Let me tell you, his first season, he went out with an idol in his pocket. And then the second season, he got 2 idols and used them both to vote out 2 of his closest allies.
Legend. He is really a living legend.
He was great.
Josh, I'm thrilled that you picked David. David is probably going into the game. He is a winner, but like no one knows that he won Dondi, I believe. So that's something, except Parvati. Parvati knows, so she might use that. But you know, he's got a nice bank account right now going into this game. So we'll see. I love David. I'm so shocked, Josh, that you picked him without knowing his game. Laura is completely correct about how he played both of his times there. Great television. Great television. Anyone else have anything to say about David?
I mean, I'm excited to see how he does, frankly. But he was someone that was on my list just because I can see it now. If you like look at the script for Survivor AU, and I'm not saying it's rigged for anyone who's like, oh, he just confirmed it's rigged. If you look at the script, I can see David having his Tony Vlachos moment this season, winning the game, retiring, being like, I did it. I've achieved everything, becoming Survivor Australia's first time, 2-time winner, which they have not had in that franchise. So I could definitely see this being, I mean, especially with a historic season like this, I feel like if you're a producer, this is what you're pulling for. David wins the game. He becomes our legend, which he already kind of is, but he cements himself as the legend of Survivor Australia, rides off into the sunset. Like, I think that's the storybook ending that I could definitely see playing out once this is all said and done.
I hope the Godmother takes out the Golden God again.
Oh, right, because they played together.
Yep. And the Godmother took out the Golden Boy with that idol in his pocket, and I hope she does it again.
Okay.
I feel like the only person we're missing from their time together on that season and their relationship is Harry. I feel like we're missing Dirty Harry and how he played.
This is a deep cut, and I think only the AU people get this. They need Alan Sugar.
Yeah, I get you.
Australians know what I'm talking about.
I think it'll be interesting with David to see how he walks in on the island, because he knows what he's just won. So I think either that will cloud his judgment or it'll allow him to go like balls to the wall. I'm just going to do anything. I think it'll be really interesting to see how he feels walking into the island. And I think that'll really tell, you know, how he does.
Laura, why do I feel like it's going to be the latter, that he's going to go balls to the wall?
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, if he can hide that strength that he now has in his own worth, I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the opposite take of Randy. I think he's going to come out too strong. And I don't think the AU cast is going to be too friendly to someone who's already won. I think that they are going to chop him as fast as they can. That is my take.
I could see it, Logan. I definitely am not disagreeing with that. I could definitely see him and Cirie are the two people that I think. Actually, him, Cirie, and George. I wasn't going to try to pick any of them because I think those three are just too. I'm sorry, Cara, but
what
like
about Tony? Tony's not.
Yeah, Tony or Parv?
Yeah.
I know there's I mean, it is an all-stars cast, so you could make a case for pretty much anyone, US or AU, that like they could be targeted super, super early on. I just feel like Tony, you're right. Tony has won twice, but something in the back of my mind is telling me when they step foot on this island, the two biggest targets right away are going to be Cirie and George for whatever reason, the two people who haven't won are going to be the two biggest targets right off the bat. That's kind of what my gut's telling me.
There's also a lot of winners on this cast, whether they've won Survivor or they've won another game. I think that there might be possibly some sort of, hey, we've won games. Let's just keep an eye out for each other because we could easily be threats on the island. And when there's a lot of winners, that could come into effect.
Just to rebuttal that would help the world, right? Because that's where all the winners are. David, I believe, is the only AU winner, so he needs to get to merge with all of them for that to work.
I don't know how David and George are going to get get along. I can't see them being best friends.
That was my first thought.
Luke being out there as the instigator too, I am so ready for it.
The cheeky little, I'm very intrigued to see how they get along.
And he got rid of Shonee, so there's bad blood there. I don't know, not bad blood, but game bad blood.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking between Shonee and George. Maybe Shonee can team up with David. Who knows?
Well, Laura, is Shonee going to be your first pick?
Okay. I've waited so long for this moment, guys. And I know Ollie says that it isn't rigged, but here I am at the end. Okay. One of my top picks has not been taken. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very, very proud to say that I'm going to pick Kirby. I'm very happy.
Wow, I was wrong. I was wrong on who I thought you'd take, Laura. I was wrong.
Okay, well, I get two. Okay.
You do get two. Okay. Fair enough. Might get it. Yeah.
I'm very excited to have Kirby, mainly because I know that she doesn't know a whole lot about Survivor. She hasn't watched that many seasons, so I think it'll be really interesting to see what she brings to her, if she ever does get to meet the world players. I think it'll be really interesting to see what she takes from them. But I think she's played kind of the most recently, so it'll be super cool to see how she comes in. I'm very excited.
Laura, Kirby she's up there for me in terms of one of my favorite players of all time. And you're right. The fact that, and I didn't know this until we were speaking to her after her season, was the fact that she went in not knowing the game of Survivor from a fan's perspective, or even just from watching any season. That was astonishing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love that pick.
Mm-hmm. So if
Nina,
she was that good, not knowing a lot, and now she's played, imagine how good she's going to be now.
Right.
So good.
Right. She's with a lot of all-stars.
And see,
that's
she was
cool.
I was hoping nobody would get her. She was my second pick because she also, even though her and Ferris had butted heads a lot, she would be like, you know what? For this next opportunity, we can just work together and drop it. And sorry if I'm cutting out. I don't know what's wrong with this thing, but great pick.
Nina said, great pick. I agree with that. Anyone disagree with that? Which would be wild.
You'd be wrong. You'd be wrong.
I forgot about Kirby. Kirby.
That's rude. I don't.
How could you forget about me?
Fake fan.
Hold
it.
He's not allowed back in. Anyway, Randy, why would you admit to that?
No, I didn't forget she's on the cast. She's obviously an icon, a legend. Look, I'm here to be the villain and cause chaos with my stupidity and my sneakiness. So, no, I just saw when she said Kirby, I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even thinking about taking Kirby. That was such an incredible pick. That's what I meant by, I know she's on the cast, but that's how it came out that I totally forgot she was even a person. So, love Kirby. Ollie, stop it.
So quickly.
Ollie, I'll remember all of this when I'm standing on top and winning. Okay, Ollie?
And I still will go to bed happy.
That is some big talk coming from you, Randy. I hope that you can back it up. But Laura, you are correct. You have the advantage here because we are going back to you to start us off with round 2. And there's only 14 players, so this is our last round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued to know who you think I'm going to pick, Randy.
Well,
the next person's also on the Australian side.
I bet they are.
I feel like I know. I feel like I know.
I feel like I know.
And I know what you're going to do.
Logan knows me very well. I'm going to go for someone that I think is going to come in as a little bit of an underdog. someone that has been mentioned. I think they might be able to fly under the radar if they can keep their cheekiness to themselves. I'm going to pick Luke.
I knew it. Do it.
I'm dead.
I was wrong.
Did you think I was going to pick Shonee?
I did think you were going to pick Shonee.
Yeah.
I
I do love Shonee. I adore Shonee. But I'm intrigued to see how Luke does with such big personalities. He could really thrive. He could get really excited and do the same thing that David might, which is just balls to the wall. But I have a feeling he might be able to fly under the radar a little bit with these other relationships that other people have. And he's just so lovable. And if he can team up with Kirby, that would be my dream come true. I see them teaming up. I see like they're very similar. And so I would like for them to team up, which is why I'm going to pick Luke.
Laura, I just love what you said about under the radar, because I definitely feel like Luke's not being talked about compared to all these other like Survivor icons, and I don't understand why. I'm like, have we just forgot how good Luke is at this game? So can we restart? I like Laura's picks.
That's not very villainous of you.
There's a reason she was on the Brains tribe, guys. Not gonna
Hey.
About.
And HRVOJE says, aren't Luke and Kirby friends in real life?
They are.
Getting some nods. Okay.
They are. Yeah. So I hope they can team up and fly under the radar together.
Laura,
That's
that is
right.
such an exciting pick. Really love it. I love Luke. First season I watched of his was Champions vs. Contenders 2. Anyone else have anything to say about Luke Toki? No. Okay, Luke.
Look at his muscles. He is like, he got really buff. Look at him.
He did.
Yeah. So hopefully you can use those later as well, later in those individual challenges.
Yeah.
calm down, Laura. Calm down.
It's me just thirsting
a
over
great
Luke
guy.
and Kirby. It's me just loving both of them. I just love them both.
We love it.
Laura, don't worry. I got flustered as well seeing that photo. Anyway, so
I gotta go. So
Nina.
Matthew's gonna make my last pick for me. Plus, I'm so sorry, guys. I feel like it keeps cutting in and out. Like I'm trying to catch what everybody's saying and it's cutting off. So, of course, everybody's had great picks so far. Can't wait to see how this ends. And good luck to everyone. Y'all have a great night or
Nina.
morning.
morning. Nina, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us, even in the short amount of time. I will try to get you the best picks possible.
And I'm going to say this before I hang up. I texted Matthew twice that I was like, I'm going to try and hold on, but here's my list. Boom, taken. Boom, taken. Then I added a third person because I was like, okay, these are my next two. Watch them get taken. So let me add the last one. Hopefully y'all don't take them. If you do, so be it. But I appreciate the time and y'all have a great rest of your chat.
See you later, Nina.
Bye,
Thank you.
Nina.
so much.
Thank you, Nina.
And guess what? They were both taken by Laura. So
Great minds.
Yeah. great one.
amazing. All right, Josh, it's on you.
Okay. So again, I'm trying to think where can I get the most bang for my buck here, right? So since I picked somebody from the AU tribe, I think I'm gonna go for someone on the world. Kind of even the odds, maybe find somebody who can have good connections on both tribes. If they survive at merge, hopefully that puts my people in a good spot. So I'm looking at the world tribe. I would have picked Parvati, but I'm still looking at Tony and Cirie. But I think I'm going to go with Cirie. I think Cirie is really, really going to get far in this game. Cirie has a great resume when it comes to Survivor games and making it to merge and making it farther in the game. I see a relationship with Parvati. I see a relationship with other people who have played a U.S. Survivor. So I'm a little biased here because Cirie is from Connecticut and I kind of just wanted Cirie. So
I love it. And what a buildup, Josh. Randy, I have a question for you. If the person who picked Cirie here, do they also get Cirie for the 50 draft?
Oh, wouldn't that be insane?
Ooh.
We'll circle back around to that.
What an advantage. Anyway, I mean,
Free advantage. Yeah, it's like a little Survivor token.
it's Cirie. You know, like what could we possibly say about Cirie? I think every one of us here and everyone in the chat knows Cirie is not to be messed with in the game of Survivor. She is a fantastic player. Anyone else here? Anyone else looking to put Cirie on their draft?
I was definitely interested in putting Cirie there, but it's when you have the energy of someone who should have won and just hasn't every time. It's like you're like, do I take the risk this time? Is this time going to be it for her? I don't have that energy that it is, and I'm so sorry, Cirie, but I'm very interested to see how she plays for sure. And I mean, that woman is booked and busy, and I love that for her.
I like Cirie in this season more than I like her on Survivor 50. I will say that. I think Survivor 50, she is a shoo-in to be one of the first 3 people out. I think that's going to be like a swan song for her. You know, love to have you on 50, but you're not going to make it very far. But this season, with the players that she's playing with, I could see someone using her as a potential shield, or I could see someone who hasn't had that opportunity to play with her looking at Cirie being like, I know this girl has what it takes to get far in the game. I'm going to immediately pair up with her. But I do like her in this season more than I would in 50.
Yeah, this one feels a lot like a Legends sort of season cast. And I think Cirie has that spot there. So, Cara, you were about to say something too.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Cirie does with the challenges, like the Australian type challenges that are way different from the ones on American Survivor. So I'm curious how that'll play into her game.
That's good.
Assuming that the challenges are more like the Australian Survivor challenges.
They gotta be, right? I mean, let's see. It's a shorter game, but I have a feeling that we're gonna get the same production design. I hope so, at least. I can't wait to see everyone on the World Tribe face the challenges, Logan and Laura, that you have done. Nina, when she was here, she has done. I mean, you two, having done the show and having done those challenges, can you give us a little taste of what these players should be expecting?
I mean, obviously we know this was filmed quite close to the back of our end, so I don't feel like there's a huge time to be quite different with the challenges. So I would be guessing that they're going to be facing quite similar challenges to what we faced, and they're hard. I'm going to tell you this now, they're hard. So I hope they all went to Pilates. I really hope so. they're challenges. They make you use like parts of your body that you didn't know that you had there. Like, it is a really strange thing that when you go into these challenges and you're tweaking muscles that you're like, that's a muscle. Like, what am and I think Survivor AU really enjoys the endurance challenges that you look at and you're like, that's not hard. But when you're sat there for 2 hours doing it, they become super, super difficult. So I am interested to see what a lot of the world cast do with these kind of challenges. I think the AU cast is used to them, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they go up and stack in these challenges, especially the individual portion of it.
Laura, anything to add?
They're just so much bigger and taller and wider and longer than you ever think they would be.
Laura, just say better. Just say better.
No, they're just huge. They're just huge, and you're looking up, and that's 3 stories high. Like, they're really big. They kind of the perspective on the TV kind of makes it look like, because you get it all in one frame, but they're really big. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they deal just with the mass of it all. You've got David on the other side. He's huge. One big kind of grab and he's up there. But I think it'll be really interesting to see how they do with the sheer length of them all.
And I think, Logan, you're spot on also with the fact that these are probably going to be very similar to what you and Laura have done because of the turnaround time in terms of when these seasons were filmed. So I think that they're just going to put a fresh coat of paint on a few of the challenges that you two have done and then call it a day.
I have a feeling you're going to see that slide. I have a feeling, and I hope no one's pretty.
Yes, that slide.
A big boy. She's big.
Also, if they happen to do that same marooning challenge that you two did, I hope that no one makes the mistake of throwing the bag at the key to get it down.
We don't talk about it.
All right.
Bring it up.
Sorry. A rough subject. Anyway, Logan, it is now your second and final pick.
Don't you do it, Logan. Don't you do it.
I am in so many minds about this. I feel like I have 3 people right now that okay, so I have one person that, I mean, I've already got someone from the Australian side. So I'm like, do I lean towards the world? Because there is only one person left on the Australian tribe. And it's very obvious if I pick this person. We have Shonee that is left on the AU tribe. And I want to pick her. But I'm like, I'm trying to separate myself from Shonee, guys. I'm really trying to have separation here. I'm Logan, she's Shonee. It's a very big difference. So I don't know that I want to pick her, but looking at this world tribe, it's stacked. Like, it is still stacked. We have got 5 picks left, and they're all huge players. So there's no bad picks left, which is what's making this really difficult. I'm looking at 2 other people on the world tribe. I'm trying to look at my notes right now, and I'm leaning towards Rob in a way because, I don't know, I get the vibes just because he's South African. My husband's South African. My kids are South African. I love that vibe. But I'm also like, is he a big target? He comes in wearing his leopard print. I'm like, we love this. He's out there, the energy. But then I'm also looking at someone who I actually haven't watched their season, but I've heard a lot about, which is Lisa. And I've heard big boss energy from her. So I really I'm interested to know what to do here. If anyone has some ideas, let me know. But then we've also got Tony, who I'm like, okay. So you see why I'm struggling.
This is what makes the draft fun, because it you feel, and then you get super competitive when the points start wrapping in and everything. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm going to steer away from Shonee, guys. I think that's best for me and my energy. I'm going to protect myself here. I think I'm going to steer away from Rob too. I think it's too obvious, the South African tie. I think so. I think I'm going to go with Tony, guys. I think I'm going to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a whole big intro for that.
I love that.
It was worth it.
We're going with Tony. Bring it home for me, Tony. Let's go.
I think if Tony can pull this off, it will be the greatest thing ever. It'll be iconic, and he already is iconic, but I think that is the best pick. I agree.
I'm a little iffy when it came to Tony, and that's kind of why I went and leaned more towards Cirie, because I don't think Tony can get away from the fact that people know he's won twice. And coming into another Survivor game, trying to win a 3rd time in any sort of Survivor game.
Oh, wait, make sure I rescind my pick.
He's already there.
I feel like there's a big target that's going to be on Tony's back. Is Tony going to play differently? Or are we going to see the same Spy Shack Tony? The one that wants to play aggressive and can play at the highest level possible at all times. Is Tony going to switch it up? Or is Tony going to let other players become a bigger threat? That's what I want to see. If Tony can play an under the radar game and really ramp it up towards final 9, final 8, I think we can see Tony make it really far in this game. But can he switch it up? I want to see.
Maybe traders humbled him or, change his perspective on how to go into this, because that didn't turn out that great for him. So hopefully he has a different mindset going in now.
Well, let's
did traitors happen? Wait, what happened first? Traitors or Survivor?
I have no idea.
I think traitors. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe traitors. And let's just look at Tony's track record really, really quickly here. He won his first season, and obviously one of the greatest seasons of Survivor of all time. I think people can all agree to that. Came back, played way too hard, flamed out immediately. Then he comes back, plays Winners at War. Not an easy season to win at all because everybody has won. Wins that, and actually wins that in a pretty dominant fashion as well. Then he goes on the Traitors, flames out. Which Tony do we get here? It's one or the other. He's either one of the first people or the first person to lead the game, or he goes all the way to the end. And something that we've seen with Tony, you can't let Tony get to the end. That's what I'm curious about. I feel like we will know very early on if this is going to be a good Tony game or a bad Tony game. Because if you take him and use him as a shield until the merge, that's exactly what he wants. This dude has won Survivor twice for a reason. He's one of the best Survivor players ever for a reason. He's my Survivor GOAT for a reason. I'm happy Nina's not here because obviously Sandra, I didn't want to start that argument. But I think this is going to be Tony's swan song. It's going to be his last season. He has already said he's done after this. He's retiring from reality TV after this. I'm very excited to see which Tony we get here.
I think you made a great point, actually, Randy. I think if there's anyone on this cast who can prove that they can win with other winners, it's Tony. He's shown it already. He can do it again.
Yeah.
Well, now, here, okay. So I had a transition and then I lost the transition in my head, and that's all that came out of my mouth. So listen, Logan, I like the pick because I think that it is a risky move and big risk, big reward. So we shall see. And there's a couple of things. Like I go back and forth between Josh and Laura, both of your points, in the sense that, yeah, he is a 2-time winner for a reason. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's very hard to have people forget that you are a 2-time winner. And if there are players that are less familiar with the US version of the game and are less familiar with Tony overall, there are still tons of US players that are going to be ready to hand over that information on a silver platter if needed. But then he can also fall into the position of, you know what, it's Tony. He's going to go at some point, or no one's going to vote for him at the end to win again. We'll see, depending on it. I'm just thinking whoever wins this, if it's another winner, we're going to have to get Sandra, Tony, and potentially that other winner back for like a Redemption Island style season.
Just those three. Just a Survivor season with 3 people.
Would this count?
I was going to say there is more players that have won twice, not just Tony and Sandra.
Oh,
like
name
would this
them.
count towards that for them to be like? Isn't this like a kind of a new franchise, kind of? Or would this count towards them winning 3 times?
It's Survivor.
Twice?
It's Survivor.
Right?
You know, Survivor. Ollie, go ahead and give me the other winners.
There's Turbo. Anyone of the Challenge fans might know him. He was on Survivor Turkey. I know he won twice. There is someone else. He's won twice. I can't remember. There is someone else. I'll look it up as I do this. I can't remember who the other name is, but give me 2 seconds now.
How did I not know Turbo was on Survivor?
Yeah, he was on Survivor Turkey. He won twice.
He does my head in on the challenge, but anyway.
Yeah.
For him winning.
While he looks that up, I just want to give a special shout out to our queen Laura down here below me, because I know, Tony, the graphics kind of blocking you, and when you started speaking like a pro, you found your window and like shine. Yeah, you instantly like swerved to the right. It didn't even it didn't bother you. So pop off, queen.
Thank you so much for noticing that. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Because I was worried. I was like, oh, I made the graphics, and I'm like, oh, I should have made them a little smaller. And I was like, oh, Laura's going to be talking, and it's totally going to block her. And then you instantly did that. I was like,
yeah, I will find a way. I will find a way to get this
television professional right there.
Yeah,
very good. Well, also HRVOJE just put in the chat. Also, there was someone on French Survivor who won twice.
So,
someone in Survivor Mexico.
Amongst Castal, I want to think I've said.
Logan, there's a lot of Survivors.
There's like 8 people that have won their seasons twice.
All right. Well, we do have to keep going. Well, anyway, so now we have a full cast essentially of 2-time winners. HRVOJE also said, Logan, picking Shonee just feels right. Listen to your gut, queen. But here's...
I can't. I'm so sorry. It's like picking myself. Like, I can't do it. Like, it's not right.
Well, listen, here's the deal. Nina gave me a list of names. It is now Nina's turn.
I forgot Nina. I was so cocky and ready to...
All right, so Nina's pick.
Randy just keeps forgetting people.
Randy, we just so you know, he's got very bad short-term memory. Like it's just Randy.
Say about you, Randy, that every time you're wrong, you leave.
You see how red my face? I was so like, all right, Matthew, send it my way.
Well, Randy, who are you thinking? Because Nina's not here. They're not going to say it.
Anyway, Also, Joba Bomb, you are correct. A name pronunciation would be fantastic, but at the same time, we're all good to keep going. All right, so Nina, who was a part of this draft, Randy, gave me a list of names, and every single name she gave me has been picked except for one person, and that person is Shonee. And I agree with this pick so much. That's what you get, Randy. That is what you get for forgetting Nina. So basically, Nina's reasons for picking Shonee were a score to settle and drive to finally win. I do think Shonee is going to come back energized. I think, especially with the shorter format of the game, we did sort of see her towards the end of Heroes versus Villains, kind of get tired towards the end there. She's admitted it, like she was like kind of ready to wrap the season up and get going. I think with the shorter format, that's going to be interesting. Nina's played with her before, which is great. Joba Bomb points out Nina got Parvati and Shonee, two people that are sort of connected to her in the Survivor sphere. That's a great draft pick. I love Shonee also. She won me over when she had that line in All Stars where she said, that person's favorite thing to talk about is birds, so birds are my favorite thing to talk about. And I think that is brilliant social play. I also just think that she is television gold, and she has something to settle with George, especially. So, who here wanted Shonee?
Do you know what? I'll admit she was up there for me, but just because of like the legacy aspect of it, it's Shonee. Like, I could at least say I've got like Shonee on a draft. Like that would kind of be my reason. Yeah, I would love to see her settle some scores. I mean, she has got a few scores. I mean, she's got obviously George that we all know. She's got David as well. I think even no, I'm wrong there. There was someone else, but it wasn't. Yeah, I just think if she can settle those scores, I think she'll be good. And I think I'd love to see her get with like some of the women, and then that would just be iconic.
Yeah, we need another alliance name. I'm looking forward to it. But Shonee also still gives me Cirie energy, that same vibe of someone who should have won but just hasn't each time. And I can't see it happening this time just with this stacked cast. I just think that she's too big of a threat to let go too far into the game. I think she deserves a win. I really hope she gets one under her belt at some point. But she's coming off the back of she's just had a kid. I don't feel like coming into this game, she's still got that same energy of I'm here to absolutely thrive and crush it. I feel like she's here for a really good time. She's here for a fun, quick trip. And I'm not sure that she's going the distance. I hope she does. I hope she proves me wrong, but I'm not sure that she would be up there with my winner pick.
I think she's coming in with a massive target. You're right. Like she's like known as the best Australian Survivor social player. Like that, she's known as that globally. So I think it'll be interesting to see. You can't play down a social threat the way that you can play down a physical threat by just like jumping off the challenge. The social threat is the 24/7, middle of the night kind of player. And you can't change that. You can't change who you are. So I think it'll be interesting to see how she navigates that.
I want her to go so far, and I'm so nervous about exactly what both of you just pointed out there. She is a fantastic player, and in some ways, I hope it's hard to say because I want people to recognize that about her and respect that. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, like as much as possible, Shonee, fly under the radar as best as possible, get far, and play a great game. So I'm excited to see her. As I said, excellent television as well. Her confessionals are so quotable. Now, I have to ask you, Logan, especially. We have this comment here. Shonee versus George is giving Logan versus AJ. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, Logan versus AJ is the Temu version, guys. Let's be so for real. I loved AJ and our rivalry. It was amazing. But Shonee and George are iconic. And I mean, it's a pleasure to be known in the same realm of that. But I think they're a little bit leagues ahead of us. I don't know that AJ would agree. I think AJ was like, yeah, no, I've got George. I would have George in the bag. But I think Shonee is a little bit of head and shoulders above me. But it is very polite of you to consider me within the same world as that. So I appreciate that for sure.
Oh, it was a great rivalry. I love when I put the question up, Laura instantly was just like, yep, I was there. Yes.
It was a lot. I think the hard thing is what you don't see. It was every day, man. It was from like day 4. I was struggling with that guy for 35 days. it was a lot. I think the Johnny, a new name. Love that. The George and Shonee rivalry. I mean, it was like it only came sort of to a head towards the end where they were working together for so long. AJ and I, we were not besties. So we were struggling for a very long time. And I think that's the sort of the key difference with that sort of coupling is that, yeah, AJ and I were butting heads from day 5, whereas George and Shonee actually got to work together for a lot of it, and it was kind of a flip towards the end. And there's some blood to be paid, I think, in this season coming forward. But AJ and I think if we played together again, I would hope that it's water under the bridge and we could sort of move forward and have a George and Shonee relationship at the start, I guess, and have that energy to work together. But yeah, it's very different, I think, our rivalries for sure.
Well, AJ, if you're watching this, you've heard it here. Logan's like water under a bridge if we ever play again together.
We'll get him on the phone. We can chat. Let's do it.
There you go. Just set it up now. Just start the pre-gaming right now. And I will say, Logan, we did get to see you and AJ sometimes, like very, very slight instances of working together at points. So, you know, lots of fun there. I like that you were both able to recognize that in your game and move forward there. I know this isn't your exit interview, but I'm excited to talk to you for the first time. So next, did someone leave?
Okay, Cara's dealing with some lagging.
Tech issues.
Okay, cool.
Leave and come back.
So I thought someone hid me for a second, and I was like, that's rude. Now, Randy, it is officially your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I think Shonee is winning this game. I will say that. So that's just a gut feeling that I have, which you could make the argument if you think Shonee is winning this game, why did you not take her with your first pick? I do very, very bad at picking the winners. So I went against my gut, and my gut is telling me Shonee's going to win this game. Laura, does that not make sense?
That makes no sense. How do you
Laura.
function?
Sometimes
Very, very chaotically. I can
the
attest
right
to it.
thing to do in life is to do the opposite of what my brain tells me.
No. I feel like I should go to work to get paid. I'm going to stay at home all day. What?
Yes, Laura, read him.
The funny thing is, I've had that exact thought several times. Right?
That's not how you
Randy,
function
after
as
that,
a human.
I live
after that
life
confusing
on
statement, what was your next
I
pick?
swear to God.
It's so weird.
Okay, so I was prepared for Logan to take Shonee before remembering that the lovely, iconic, and very memorable Nina Twine is still part of this draft. So I did prepare a backup. I think it's really interesting, the 3 people that we have remaining in this draft. I think 2 of them are people that have not been talked about at all. Kind of go the Cassandra route with Lisa and Tommy. I actually expected Tommy to be the last pick in the draft, so I'm kind of sad to see my man still in here. But I am going to go with who I think is the best player still available, and that is Rob. And I'm doing that because if there's one thing about Rob, I am worried. I believe it was Logan earlier who said this about Rob, about is he going to be a major threat? I do think he is going to be a major threat, but I'm hoping to rack up a lot of points with Rob early on in the game when it comes to these challenges, because I struggle outside of David and potentially Luke. I struggled to really find anyone who's going to be able to match his physicality in a game, a version of Survivor where it's the most physical when it comes to these challenges. You know, US Survivor no longer does the one-on-one challenges where you go up and it's kind of like the sumo challenges, and that's, I don't see anyone who could beat Rob in that. Even if it's him and David matching up, I still don't know if David has the strength to beat Rob. I mean, this dude is a boulder pretty much. His season of Survivor South Africa, he was dominant in the challenges. I think he can literally carry his tribe through these challenges. Do not let this guy get to the individual part of the game where it's going to be individual immunity challenges. So that's why I'm taking Rob. I I'm hoping he racks me up. By the way, we didn't say this earlier. All of these points come from bracketology. And we do have a bracketology fantasy game that you guys can compete in. Go to the link in the description below, or the link is in our Instagram bio, and compete for hopefully some incredible prizes. We're still working on that. But yeah, I'm hoping Rob does enough. I don't think he's going to make it far in the game, but I hope he racks up the points. And then we can finish it off towards the end with Cassandra.
Okay. All right. Logan, I know that you were contemplating Rob. So how do you feel about this pick?
I mean, I'm loving looking at him on the screen.
Logan, behave.
No, it's too early for me to be this energized about this. No, it's. I mean, the South African element, I love it. Obviously, my husband's South African, so seeing him there, it's like me picking Shonee for me and Rob for my husband. It's too close to home. But I love the energy. But I do agree with the fact that I think he's going to be such a big physical threat, which is one of the reasons why I didn't pick him. Is I think with this cast, I don't think they're going to be worried about winning challenges early. Like with these legends here, I don't think that's going to be a huge thing to be like, we need to win every single challenge. They're going to be looking at someone that's like, if they are this huge threat, they're not looking at them to be like, we need to keep them to win challenges. I don't think that's going to be the thought process. So I worry that Rob is going to be an early boot. So that is one of the reasons why I didn't pick him. But he's so cutie, so.
I agree. That photo is incredible.
Look at these eyes.
I'm blushing. Stop it. Don't
I
tell
got
me.
Rob and I got Cassandra. I feel like my team is serving looks, and I'm ready for it.
It's interesting, Randy, you say that, and it's interesting that is your draft team here, because MJ312 says Cass and Rob Alliance. This came up earlier, but I'm glad to bring it up here. Do you think that's possible?
I do think it's possible. I do think that's a route that they could definitely go down. Don't forget that the world team, the U.S. Survivor players are actually in the minority. So I'm very curious to see early on if these other players, you look at Elisa, you look at a Cassandra, you look at Rob, and then you look at Tommy, if they decide, look, these U.S. players, they think they're the best in the world. You know, they're on the original Survivor. They came to play. Why don't the four of us just get together and vote them out one by one? And I think that's a route that could definitely end up shaping, especially not only the early part of this game, but the later part of this game. And if you look at the two sides and who's going to be better at challenges, outside of Rob, and this is no knock to Parvati. Parvati can hold her own out there. I think the AU tribe just looks stronger, and I feel like they could do a lot better in these challenges. So I like the fact that I have Cass and Rob versus some of these U.S. players, because I think that tribe could go to tribal council a lot early on. And I could definitely see the four non-U.S. based players on the world team teaming up.
I mean, there's definitely a home field advantage also, right? Especially when it comes to the challenges and the style of challenges. So, all right, Randy. Very cool. We're going to move on. Now, here's the thing. I have a feeling that also Zans, hi, thank you so much for joining. We're glad to have you in the chat as well. So Ollie and Cara, I have a question for the two of you. Mostly Ollie. Ollie, are you threatening Cara or about your picks? Or are you negotiating?
No, I generally was texting Cara and I was like, do you have a preference?
Okay.
There's back negotiation.
They're doing some negotiations. I was clocking some things.
I would have paid Nina to not take Shonee.
I would not have allowed that transaction. Anyway, so also, I mean, before we move on and about every pick that we have left, I am excited as a viewer to see some of these players that I know less about be wild cards in this. I just hope that the situation isn't that everyone gets voted out fairly early if they weren't on AU or US. I am fearful that might be a thing, but I'm excited to see these players get their time in this franchise. So, Ollie, you have two players left. Who are you picking?
I mean, firstly, I agree with you. If that happens, my recaps will be great because I will be writing about all the world players. Yeah, I text Cara openly. I was like, do you have a preference? I can confirm Cara does not have a preference, which is great because there is somehow I got someone that is in my top 3.
Ooh.
I somehow none of you decided to pick Lisa, and I'm so happy about that. Because I think a lot of people, obviously, she's from the New Zealand cast. I think some people may not know how strong Lisa can be when it comes to like the game aspect, taking away the physical side. Lisa is a boss. I mean, I think Logan said it best. Like she's a boss. We talked about Janine, how she was able to get rid of someone with an idol. Lisa did that. Lisa did it twice. Yeah. Lisa was the reason that most of her cast went home. So I think people may sleep on Lisa, and I really hope she can get through that kind of first couple of rounds. I hope she's able to integrate herself well. I think she's got some ways that she can do that. But yeah, I was sitting here for the longest time. As soon as Logan was talking about Lisa, I was like, don't do it. Yeah. Pick Rob. Pick someone else. As soon as Randy said it, I was like, pick Rob. Pick someone else.
No, I think it's a great pick. Lisa does give me Janine energy. And I mean, obviously I did pick Janine first, so I didn't want to go with 2 of the same people that gave me that same vibe. But I think it's an excellent pick, Ollie, and I'm impressed by your team. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, don't flatter him. Anyway, so anyone else have anything to add about Lisa? I'm excited, Ollie. I didn't know these things about her, so that sounds. I have my eyes on her.
But I think that is the thing with Lisa. I think just when you judge the book by its cover with Lisa, she's obviously the older woman. She kind of doesn't look that physically strong. Like, what is she going to prove? And then if you watch her season, if you read into Lisa, you know that there is a killer instinct there. There is, as like Pia, I feel like her and Pia kind of have similar stories in the sense she's a really good silent assassin. You don't sleep on her.
I love the Pia shout out. Love that.
All right, Cara, that means that there's one player left. Now, we know who it is. You go ahead and tell us who you're ending up with.
So I'm getting Tommy, and I mean, I don't know anything about him. I was trying to look at his wiki page, but it's not even in English, so I can't even read up on him. I see he was a runner-up, so I have 2 runner-ups, which I'm excited about. And I'm honestly kind of happy that I didn't get a second choice, because we saw in the Survivor 48 draft how that went for me. We saw how it went for the Survivor Brains vs. Brawn 2 draft. Also not great showing for me. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't get to choose. I got George, who I wanted, and I get Tommy, who I get to be surprised by. So I'm satisfied.
Cara, you're always so sweet in these drafts. I feel so bad. Like I need you know what? I need someone else to struggle, because I can't watch Cara struggle again. She needs to win this thing. If I can't win, I'm paying for Cara.
Yeah, Randy, your involvement, it could be now. You could be the one struggling this time.
I would prefer that not to happen.
Pushing it to Randy.
I think it's Ollie's turn to struggle, because he always finishes like top 3.
I second that. But Cara, you do have a very interesting draft. This could be a really cool thing for you. So I'm excited to be surprised by Tommy as well. Is anyone here more familiar with Tommy's game, or anyone in our live chat? I know.
The historian.
I'm excited to watch these people play, though. Like the ones that I haven't seen, they have been recruited for this season for a reason. So I'm so excied to watch them play.
Agreed. But Ollie, you know a little bit about.
Yeah, look at him. He looks so. He's like, I'm happy to be. That's a great energy to come in with like some bold players. So hopefully he can like just make some friends really quick.
He seems sweet. He has a very sweet smile, but he also, someone pointed out, he's wearing that wolf on his shirt, so he could be a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Ooh, maybe. I like that. And
you wanted me to? Yeah. So Tommy, he is obviously from the Finland franchise. So the thing about Finland is they get a lot of people that are kind of celebrity-ish. Like when you look at all of like their kind of bios and what they do, it's all kind of celeb sort of things. I believe he was a radio presenter. He came second, like Cara said. He won 2 individual immunities. It was a 4-3 vote, so he was kind of like Kelly Wigglesworth, 1 vote away from winning. I think he is a good pick, just in the sense of like he's very well balanced, and like everyone's been saying, he's just got this natural charm about him, and I think that's what helps him in his season. So I think that's what might help him in this game. So I think people will underestimate him. So I think, like what he's done in this draft, if someone's going to be able to go under the radar and then be a killer, it will be Tommy.
Well, there you go then. I'm looking for a good under the radar player. Ollie, thank you so much for knowing so much about this beautiful game that we all love. Zans was the one who mentioned the wolf shirt. So thank you, Zans. And Joe said, I'm so excited to see the different play sets from across the world come together to make an interesting game. Joe Babam, I could not agree with you more. Well, I think we're all so eager for that. We have Rob in the chat who also says, I just need to say Laura and Logan are queens. Diva supremacy. So fun seeing both here. Again, we love having you both here. So thank you so much. Now we are going to lock in our draft picks. So we're all done. There are no other players to be selected. We're going to, starting with Cara and ending with Laura, just remind the viewers who is officially on your team.
I have, oh my gosh, sorry. I have King George and Tommy. King was important to add for that.
I have got Sarah and Lisa.
I have got Cassandra from Quebec and Rob from South Africa.
Do you want me to do Nina?
Oh, go ahead.
Nina has. At least I remembered. I wrote it down. Nina has got Parvati and Shonee.
Okay, can we just say that team, when I post this on Instagram, all of our teams, I already know people are going to look at that team and immediately be like, Nina's team, this icon.
I'm going to be commenting Nina's team. That's going to be all right, Logan.
You got Parvati. Never. I have ended up with Janine, which I forgot to mention to you guys. I think one of the reasons that attracted me to Janine, fun fact, my first job was at Boost Juice. So I was I think that's why I love Janine so much as well. I feel this strong connection. So I have Janine and I have Tony. So let's bring it home.
Oh, all right. I have David and Cirie. I'm very excited about that's.
I have Kirby and Luke.
Oh,
there's not a bad team. There is not a bad team here. I think what's with this season, it is so stacked. This is an insane cast. I'm so excited to watch. There is not a bad pick here. So I'm very interested to see how this falls.
It is truly incredible. I don't think we've ever had a draft like this before in terms of the types of players that we have to choose from on this season. And thank you all for going through that. I forgot to write these down. So with that, we are going to officially end our draft. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all in our live chat for having fun with us and participating with us. We love the back and forth. Make sure you're checking out our other shows, which I will now throw to Cara to mention one of our shows. If not, Ollie is going to mention one of our shows.
So, do you want me to do it? Obviously, with Survivor AU versus the World starting, we have got our own recap shows that myself, Cara, and Matthew are all doing. There was a chance to say something, Matthew. But no, that's no shade. We're all going to be doing that. We're going to hopefully have some special guests. You know, you never know who could pop in on a recap and join us. And then we might have some other stuff going on, but probably the best person to ask as well as Randy.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah, we do. We do have. You can tell we planned this. We do have some incredible stuff coming up for you guys. If you didn't know, it is Pride Month. So we are celebrating all of Pride at Survivor Now. You can pick up our new Survivor Now Pride apparel. The link is in the description below, or you can go to our website, survivornowpodcast.com. Also, with that, Ollie has been doing a fantastic job hosting a new series that we have titled Pride in the Tribe, where he sits down with some members, former castaways of the LGBTQ plus community, and talks about their experience and what pride means to them and how it altered how they played the game of Survivor as well. He has had some incredible interviews already with the iconic Amy Cusack and then Josh Wilder from season 44. And it's the perfect time because we are talking about Survivor Australia versus the world. It is International Week on Survivor Now Pride in the Tribe. And what I mean by that is every Sunday and Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, that is when these interviews go up. And this Sunday, he is sitting down with Ren, had an incredible conversation with Ren. If you don't know who Ren is, they competed on Survivor UK, and they were just such an incredible player. So that's going to be going up Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then following that on Monday, these two lovely ladies will be very familiar with this gentleman right here. Ollie actually sat down with Paulie. That is going to be Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So those are the next two episodes. Also, I can confirm the following week, Ollie will be sitting down with Bryce Isaiah to talk about what pride means to him. First time Bryce is coming on the show. So it is an incredible series, and we absolutely love spreading the love of pride and what's going on all throughout this month. I also forgot to mention that with this apparel, 10% of proceeds go to, I'm trying to remember the foundation name right now, but Ollie, do you have it? I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, he's going to get that. While he's doing that, he's good.
Great. Get the name, because that is a very important part of.
I know the name. I want to make sure not to mess it up.
Salem Capital Pride.
Yes, thank you, Ollie. Thank you.
And also 20% will go to Salem.
Yes, 20. It was 20%. 20%. So we definitely. I'm going to get one. I know Ollie was saying he wants to get one as well. So we are sending proceeds as well. So, and the last thing that I will say, make sure to check out our Patreon. We have some incredible content. I'm so sorry, Laura.
No, that's okay. I'm like,
we have some incredible content. We have some incredible content going there as well. Check out the link in the description below, or go to survivornowpodcast.com.
All right. Thank you, Randy, for taking us through all of that. And Zan,
I give me a 6 out of 10.
Interview for Pride in the Tribe was fantastic. So Ollie, great job there. And we also have our interview with Paulie that Ollie and I just did about his experience on Brains versus Bronze 2. Will he mention Laura? Will he mention Logan? We shall see and find out. Logan and Laura, thank you for spending your morning with all of us here at Survivor Now podcast. We absolutely love you too. Starting with Logan, going to Laura, is there anything that you would like to let us know about in your life, or anything professionally, or where can we find you?
Well, we'll be over on Insta. It's just Logan Johannisen on Insta and TikTok. And there's a fun little series that Laura, myself, and Karen are popping up at the minute. It's not a podcast. It's just more of a sort of a Q&A that we're answering all the burning questions that the fans have for Brains vs. Bronze 2, as well as just some questions regarding myself, Laura, and Karen. And we are popping that up shortly. That will be prior to Oz v the World. So if you do have any questions that you want to send to Laura and myself, pop that over. We've still got a little bit of filming to do, but there's a lot of editing. So might take a hot minute for me to get out, but yeah, there'll be some fun little things for you guys to watch over on TikTok and Insta on myself, Laura, and Karen. So if you want to watch that, head on over.
I'm excited.
I'll just ditto what Logan said. We filmed our little content. We're calling it the Witching Hour.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so good.
It was between Witch Please. So I think the Witching Hour turned out pretty well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can just randomly say, Witch Please.
There you go. You have your title and then you have your catchphrases.
Yeah.
Good distinction. Again, thank you both so much for joining us. All right, everyone, we are going to end our draft here. I'm so excited for you all to see. I'm saying it like I've already seen it, but I'm so excited for all of us to see Australia versus the world, which will be coming out this summer. So make sure you're subscribed to get all of your Survivor Now content as well. All right, everyone, we will see you later. And thank you again for joining.